There's been a lot of people complaining about how the handhelds are so expensive, and they're also complaining about how handhelds don't compare with smartphones and tablets. Now, today I'm going to explain these problems. So let's get started. Now, first of all, a lot of people say that the handhelds are so expensive today. Meanwhile, they were almost the same price the last time they came out. You see, that just makes no sense. And they'll tell you that handhelds don't compare with smartphones and tablets. Yeah, and in the case, they are kind of right. But the problem is not that they can't be compared, because they definitely can be compared. The problem is that they're comparing the wrong things of a smartphone and tablet to a handheld gaming device. What I mean by that is this. A lot of people are talking about the gaming on a handheld device comparing to a smartphone and tablet. We already know that the handheld is much better than the smartphone and tablet at gaming. I mean, it's called a handheld gaming device or a portable gaming device, right? And also, the portable gaming device has buttons, whereas the smartphone and tablet don't, unless you want to include the Xperia Play. But how many sales has that really made? You see. Now, comparing the smartphone and tablet with a handheld device, what do they actually have in common? Well, first of all, they both are computers. And with them being computers, they both have microchips. The handhelds today have touchscreens. So do most smartphones and tablets. They also have internet web browsing. They both can, what's it called? They both got user interfaces. And the PS Vita has 3G. Most smartphones and tablets have 3G as well. They both have Wi-Fi. They both can play MP3s and MP4s. See? So how can they really not be compared if they got most of these things in common? The only thing that you're complaining about when you're making this argument is the gaming aspect. That's where the problem is lying. That's where I trace the problem at. Handheld gaming devices are much better at playing games than the smartphone games. Remember, the developers take more time and put more money into making these games as opposed to the ones on smartphones. That's the thing. Other than that, if we stop looking at comparing these two things, or three things, from the gaming point of view, you'll see that they all do compare. Now, an internet browsing might not be as great on a handheld gaming device as opposed to a smartphone and tablet, but can it do it? Yes. You see? So why are you saying that they can't be compared? And now, since that I said that they actually can be compared, let's go back to what I said before that about how people are saying that these gaming devices are expensive. See, you're saying that handheld gaming devices are so expensive, but yet most of the gamers, not all of y'all, but most of y'all, are out there buying smartphones and tablets nowadays over these handheld gaming devices. And the smartphone and tablets more expensive in some cases. Like if you wanted to buy a good prepaid smartphone or a good smartphone from an actual company like Verizon, Sprint, AT&T, you're going to be paying a lot of money for that, and you're going to be under contract. You see, you put a lot of money into these devices. You're saying that the handhelds, like the Vita and the 3DS is expensive, but you're paying a lot of money for your smartphone and tablet. You see, they almost got all the same features, except one is for playing games, the other might be for computer work, you know, working in business. One does calling, you see. Other than that, everything else, they do the same. So how do they not really compare? How are you saying that the handheld is so expensive, but you're buying smartphones and tablets? You'll even buy an iPod Touch over the Vita and 3DS. So that really doesn't make any sense. And here's what the problem is, too. A lot of y'all that compare this stuff, you're saying that it's so expensive. But yet, you look at the smartphone. You don't look at the smartphone as just a phone. You look at all the features that the smartphone has. You'll look at the MP3s, the MP4s, the internet browsing. You'll look at everything on a smartphone. But when it comes to the handheld gaming device, you'll discriminate that. You'll say that, oh, it's only for gaming. Meanwhile, it can do MP3s, MP4s, all that. It does almost the same thing as what the smartphone and tablet can do. But the main purpose was to play games. We've said that the handheld gaming games are expensive. Meanwhile, you're paying bills on a smartphone. Doesn't that cost a lot more than the games on a Vita or 3DS? I'm just asking. I think they do. You see? So the problem is this. When you're comparing the smartphone to a handheld gaming device, also I'm include the tablet compared to a handheld gaming device, you're comparing the wrong thing. It's not the gaming part that should really be compared, but the other features. The MP3, the MP4s, they're both computers, both have touchscreens, things like that. That should be compared. The gaming, on the other hand, that really shouldn't be compared, unless if it's for casual gaming, like, you know, the Treasures of Montezuma or something like that. That should be something that would be compared from a gaming point of view. Okay? Other than that, the games really shouldn't be compared. And you're talking about it's expensive. The games on the handheld are expensive. The handheld is expensive. What, it's $250 for the PS Vita. But you'll pay like $300 to $400 for a smartphone, maybe even $700 to close to $1,000 for a smartphone and tablet. But yet you're saying that the handhelds are too expensive. And then you see why they ain't selling so good, or why the 3DS dropped its price so fast. So here's my conclusion. The handhelds are not expensive. They're not. Here's what the problem is. One, you're too cheap to buy it. Two, you hate handheld devices. Or three, you misjudge the handheld device. You look at the handheld device as just a handheld device and don't look at it as other things, you know, like multifunctional device, like how the smartphone and tablet is, or an iPod Touch. That's what the problem is, you see. Those were my thoughts for today. I hope you like, favor, comment, subscribe, dislike, whatever. But those were my thoughts. I'm Dre Bone 777 and I'm out. Peace.